I don't want to make anybody mad. There's like 5 of them.
I know it's like I've noticed this guy's hand up for a while, but I couldn't like to get with him.
During General Mattis's Senate hearings, Lindsey Graham asked him a question about Israel and showed I believe it's the consul being moved to Jerusalem.
That's right. The embassy.
Yeah, the embassy. My question is, how does America negotiate this Christian Weltanschauung with regards to the Middle East and this perhaps notion that Israel saw this Christian drama, or that, Islam is this sort of, evil power within this sort of regional context?
Yeah. I just told you that what I thought when I became the chairman was the most complex problem I would face, China, that I thought that would be the one that would just torture me the whole time I was the chairman, and didn't. We actually made progress, and I began to understand and sort of conceive of a way forward, militarily anyway. I got nothing for you on the on the Middle East. So the Arab-Israeli conflict has. Are you Israeli? No. I didn't pick up your accent. Where are you from? Guatemala. Boy, I swung and missed at that one. The Arab-Israeli issue is really 3 issues. One is Israel itself. Israel, and what I say about Israel itself, Israel's going through a period where they're becoming more conservative. Their demographics are changing, and that portion of their demography that tended to be more moderate is beginning to become a little conservative, and conservative in the sense of political conservatism. But that political conservatism also manifests itself in less open-mindedness about a 2-state solution. So I'm going to get to the 2-state solution in a second, but the Israeli population itself is changing. And by the way, the anti-Semitism that kind of comes and goes actually around the world, to include right now a bit of it coming back in the United States, completely unsettles Israel. The psychological impact of a bunch of teenage boys or whoever it is knocking over a Jewish headstone in a cemetery in Philadelphia reverberates in the state of Israel in an uncanny way. And so their population is a little less, they feel less safe than they've ever felt. And yet, by the way, they used to have states around them that could threaten them. Egypt attacked them, Jordan attacked them, Syria attacked them. Now there is no more Syria. Jordan is just holding on by a thread. Egypt is trying to figure out itself in the post-Morsi, El-Sisi thing. So really, there's no state threat. They would say Iran and with intercontinental ballistic missiles. But the point is, nobody's going to invade Israel today, and yet the people themselves are as unsettled as I've ever seen them. Okay, that's one factor. The second one you've alluded to, which is, Jerusalem is the holiest place in Christianity. It's the holiest place in Judaism, and it's the 3rd holiest place in the Muslim world after Mecca and Medina. So they all want it. Everybody's got a fist into the middle of it. And even when we were looking at a post-67 UN Security Council resolution 2-state solution, Jerusalem was going to be a shared, kind of an open city. It was going to have shared responsibility. That's why we passed a law in the 90s that we'd move our embassy to Jerusalem, but no president has chosen to do it because they didn't want to unhinge whatever negotiations were taking place. And it would unhinge it, by the way. I don't know. I don't think we're going to move it, by the way. I think maybe this is a way to jumpstart the negotiations, I hope. But we shouldn't move it, in my personal judgment. The third thing, and the hardest one of all, this is why this issue is so difficult, is water. Remember I said earlier, water? The problem with a 2-state solution is that in order for a state to exist, it's got to have the ability to feed itself, so it's got to have arable land and it's got to have water. And the way that things have occurred over time with settlements and redistricting and things, there would be no possibility of that if they froze everything today and said to the Palestinians, okay, look, we've got some settlements out here. We're going to give you back the West Bank, but we got these settlements out here. We're going to keep those. We'll wall them off, and we'll add up the acreage, and we'll give you the land someplace else. So it won't be on the West Bank, but maybe it'll be down in the, in the desert. Well, Palestinians aren't going to take that because there's nothing down there. I mean, it's literally desert, and unless we discover a way to make water, without water, I mean, there are ways to do it. It takes, salt water, you can desalinate it. But the problem is, there's just, I don't see any way to do it. So I don't know how to answer your question, except to say we shouldn't move our embassy because it puts us right in the damn middle of it. And I think there's going to be some tough times ahead before that happens.